Hi, my name is Ashish, and in this video, we will discuss Microsoft Azure Cloud Shell. By the end of this video, you should be able to learn how it works and then would be able to explore basic steps for its usage. I'll just quickly log on to the portal and take it from there. I'm logged on to the portal and you know how to browse to it, portal.azure.com, and here you see the option of Cloud Shell. You click on it and the black window opens, which is requesting the Cloud Shell. I'll just set up the screen here. Your Cloud Shell session will be informal, so no files or system will persist beyond your current session. Authenticating to Azure, the latest version is this, and you can use the commands. It says type help to learn about Cloud Shell, so I'll just type in help. You get these short descriptions of how the command would look like and what are the syntax. So make sure that you either have experience with creating Azure virtual machines or virtual networks, routing protocols, and you should be aware and have some knowledge about navigating the Azure portal and a bit of knowledge about the Azure PowerShell as well. As you can see, it's a browser accessible command line experience for managing Azure resources. It provides the flexibility of choosing the shell experience that best suits the way you work. You can either select Bash or PowerShell. Now, traditionally, to interact with Azure resources via command line, you need to install the necessary components into your local computer, right? So if you have a PC, Mac, Linux, you will have to install the required modules and the prerequisites, dependencies to make sure that you're able to interact with Azure through CLI or command line interface, right? So for example, you are an administrator responsible for the cloud infrastructure on which the company hosts the application. Now, applications are using different cloud resources. There are virtual machines, there are blob storage, Azure networking and other things, right? So SQL, PaaS, security, etc. Now, on some of the occasions, you are asked to perform operations on these cloud resources at moments when you are not using your work laptop. So in some cases, you have someone else's laptop, your friend's laptop, or a smartphone, or any other personal computer. Now, through this video, we will explain what Azure Cloud Shell does, how it works, and when you should choose to use Cloud Shell as a solution to meet your organization needs. So, Azure Cloud Shell is a command line environment you can access through your web browser. Right. So now how does Azure Cloud Shell work? As an administrator, you are the go-to person to perform administrative tasks and resolve workload disruptions to resource in your organizations, specifically Azure subscriptions. For example, you're visiting a family member during a weekend that you're on call. The development team notifies you of a problem with an Azure virtual machine. The VM became non-responsive or it's in hung state during scheduled maintenance for the upgrade of an application that runs on it. Now, because the developers were not granted access to the underlying Azure virtual machine, actually hosting the infrastructure, they are only able to remotely access the VM when it's operating normally. So now you are the person that they will call to diagnose and remediate the problem. Now, you're visiting your family and you don't have access to your administrator workstation, or you did not take the laptop with you. So now you do have access to a laptop with an internet browser. Okay. Now using that laptop, you browse to the Azure portal, authenticate against your organization Azure subscription through MFA, and you open the Cloud Shell like I did. You mount an Azure file share, access your diagnostic scripts, and diagnose and remediate the problems with the virtual machine, returning to the operation. Now, the window that you see, you will get when you fire up the Cloud Shell. Okay, now let's run few commands. Now, for example, in here, I'm back here. Now you will see AZ account show. This will give you all the details about the account with which you are logged in, right? Now I say get Now I will get AZ subscription. It will give you the details of my subscription, which is pay as you go, with the subscription ID and the state in which it is enabled. Now it's in PowerShell. If you want to go into the bash, right? And this is already pre-configured with the latest versions of PowerShell and bash. Now it says switching will reconnect to the same container with a new bash session. Any running processes in active PowerShell sessions will go to the background. When you click on it, it is again requesting a Cloud Shell, but now it will be in the bash, not in the PowerShell, like you see here. So if you do pwd, it's my working directory. And if you want to go back to PowerShell, you can just click here. You will go back to your previous session like this. Now it is requesting a Cloud Shell through PowerShell. And it will come here. Right. Now if you have created a VM, or if you know that you have something on there, you will see, or I'll do get AZ VM. It will query, but I don't have a VM. And you can access your own scripts and files. So when you're using Cloud Shell, you might also need to run scripts or use files for different actions. You can persist files on Cloud Shell by using the Azure Cloud Drive. Here you see this option. You can upload a file from here, or you can download a file from here. After uploading the files, you can interact with them as you would in a regular PowerShell or a bash session. And after you have edited the file will reside on the Cloud Drive. You can close the session and open another session on a different device and still access the same file, because Cloud Shell also lets you map an Azure storage file share which is tied to a specific region. And then you also have Cloud Shell tools as well, because if you need to manage resources such as Docker containers or Kubernetes clusters, or want to use non-Microsoft tools such as Ansible and Terraform and Cloud Shell, the Cloud session comes with these add-ons already pre-configured. So there are Linux tools like Bash, SH, Dig, Azure tools, AZ Copy, Azure Function, CLI, Blob Flexer, text editors like Code or Vim, source control like Git, build tools like Maven, NPM, pip, containers, Docker Machine, kubectl, Helm, databases, SQL command utility, MS SQL scripter, and other IPython client, Terraform, Puppet Bolt, etc. Alright, so this was all I wanted to cover about Azure Cloud Shell and a brief of it. I hope this was informative for all of you. If you have any further queries, please mention them in the comment section, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Have a good day.